Joining me now is the chief strategist for the Republican National Committee, Sean Spicer. Okay, Sean, I've got the strategy question. How do you protect the GOP brand at a time when this civil war is playing itself out amongst GOP House members?
Well, good morning, Michael. I'm not sure that I would call it a civil war. I think that there's a lot of discussion going on as far as the direction and the vision that our party wants to go and who are the best people to lead it. You're seeing it both in the presidential cycle in terms of the number of candidates that we have up there and the competition that's going on. And frankly, now you're seeing it in the House. I believe this is a good thing. It's good for the party to go through these discussions, to have different people put their ideas and their vision out there, and for the best person to win.
But you don't want to be associated with chaos, dysfunction, extremism. I mean, those are the words being bandied about. Take your pick of newspaper. They're not just those from the left. How can this possibly be a good thing?
Well, first, I'm not too concerned about the thoughts and opinions of opinion writers in newspapers these days. I'm worried about the opinion of our grassroots, our voters, our activists, those who are watching us. And so, look, and I will admit that at times it's not always the prettiest, the way that leaders get chosen in this political that we have. But at the end, we've done pretty well for ourselves over the last couple of years as a party. We have 69 of the 99 legislatures. We lead in the number of secretaries of state, lieutenant governors, governors. We've got the largest majority in the House of Representatives that we've had since the 1900s. And we took a historic number of seats in the Senate back last year to gain a majority. So as a party, we're doing pretty well when you look at the actual number, the wins that we're getting. And so while it may not always be pretty, the numbers that we're racking up and the growth of the party that we're having is pretty good.
Right. I mean, the party has done extremely well relative to state houses and control of this House, the House of Representatives and the Senate. But this could preclude the party from taking control of the House, meaning the White House.
I would actually look at it the opposite. When you look at the level of intensity and interest that's happening on the Republican side, the record number of people that are watching our debates, the number of diverse and historically qualified candidates that we're seeing on those debate stages, I think that our party is putting a great foot forward. I think that people are looking at us. You see the level of interest and intensity, and I think it's a great place to be.
I know you say you're not too concerned with the opinion of newspapers, but this is USA Today's lead editorial on Friday. Whether this is bad for the Republican Party isn't our concern, but in the free advice department, we'd say being pushed into paralysis by a tiny but vocal minority isn't doing the GOP brand any favors. More important, the dysfunction and extremism that increasingly define the House are bad for the country. Respond to that.
Well, I would just say that if I start listening or caring about what a bunch of opinion writers for mainstream press start thinking, we've got a big problem. We're listening to our grassroots, we're listening to our voters, and that's where I think we're going to have a success as a party. And I think, frankly, it's not just about as a party, but I think our country's going to be a better place when we articulate a better vision as far as what we will do to make this country a better place to live for our families, for individuals, for American workers who are out there struggling. So, again, I disagree with the premise. I think that we're continuing to show that we're doing better, and the election results speak for themselves.
All right, one final question on this issue. Then I want to ask about the Democratic debate. So on a 1 to 10, a 10 being tremendous, what kind of a week are we now concluding that the GOP has had? On a 1 to 10 scale, give me a numeric value.
7, 8.
Really?
But I think it's, look, and I say that with this caveat, that it's to be seen. I think we've been handed an opportunity right now to show the American people that we have leaders that have a vision, can articulate a vision and solutions for the American people. I think we have to take that opportunity and show them that we are a party that wants to get their vote, earn their vote, and then we have solutions for the future of this country. So I would give that number now, but it could go up or down depending on how we use this opportunity.
You're headed to Vegas. I'm headed to Vegas. You're there on a scouting mission, I take it. Why are you going?
Well, I think it's going to, partly just to observe. I think this is going to be a really interesting night out there because you're going to have Hillary Clinton, who is this person that the Democratic establishment has coronated as their next nominee, and yet she's facing an insurgency from a bunch of kind of left-wing nut jobs in the package of Bernie Sanders, Link Chafee, Jim Webb, Martin O'Malley. So I think part of it is to make sure that we keep the story straight. But the second big point is that with respect specifically to Hillary Clinton, she's flip-flopped so many weeks that she could start her own Circus du Soleil out there while she's there. And I think what we want to do is make sure that we're telling the story straight, keeping her honest, making sure that reporters and the American people understand what her position has been prior to whatever she's going to say on Tuesday night.
Any truth that the RNC has contacted the DNC and offered to supply Donald Trump to show up on that debate stage so as to spur additional interest in this?
I think we're there's no question they're going to need additional interest. While I know that CNN will put on another great debate, I have a feeling that this is going to be a snooze fest for the people who do tune in, because there's really not that much out there. You're just going to see, I mean, at some point, Link Chafee debating whether or not we go to the metric system isn't exactly what the American people are trying to figure out are the big issues that they're feeling right now.
Right, but the question, I guess, is, and there's no doubt, I mean, 25 million people watching on CNN, in fact, more than that when you factor in some of the folks from overseas. But were they watching the Republican debate for the right reasons? I mean, or are they watching it because it's like rubbernecking when you see an accident because of the Trump factor?
Well, first, I mean, I think there's a good chance that we have more people that watched our debate online that will watch the Democrats on TV. I think there's not that much interest on what's going on their side. Most people believe that Hillary Clinton has already been coronated the nominee. So there is going to be a big difference. But when it comes to our party, look, when you tuned in to our debates, you saw an unbelievably historically diverse and qualified number of individuals up on that stage talking about the problems that America faces and the solutions they're going to put forward. There's no question in my mind that that was a net positive for this party.
All right, a 7 or an 8. I'm recording that. Thank you, Sean.
You bet, Michael.